Without wasting your time, we are going to share top 5 flash drive. The product links are in the description and in first comment. The number 5 on the list is Kingston Data Traveler. Kingston Data Traveler, though portable solid-state drives are becoming more popular and can deliver excellent performance, they still can't beat the portability and convenience of a USB flash drive. Kingston's new Data Traveler Max pushes flash drive. The outside is made of sturdy black plastic. Horizontal grooves provide a secure, slip-free way to grip it, especially while plugging or unplugging it. Though this drive lacks rugged and water resistance ratings, it feels solid and should stand up to the stresses of daily use. Kingston's long standard warranty goes some way towards assuring that the connector is concealed. Simply push the keyring tab on the back of the drive to coax it out. This design prevents the connector from getting bent or damaged during transport, provided you remember to retract it. That is the last physical highlight is its status indicator on its top side just to the right of the Kingston logo, a feature that has disappeared off many flash drives. Our inner geek sense always appreciates knowing when the drive is being accessed. The Data Traveler Max met and even exceeded Kingston's high-performance claims in our testing. Its performance is outstanding considering that it isn't an external solid-state drive, but a traditional flash drive. The drive's biggest downsides are its lack of security and rugged features, so just beware of that going in. Otherwise, the Max's performance is potent enough to make it a viable alternative to external, and its highly portable design sweetens the deal that produced similarly excellent results in our next and last test meter, especially in random reads and writes. In the sequential 4-thread test, we saw the exceed Kingston's maximum read and write claims where it achieved read. Its write numbers are good. The number 4 on the list is Samsung MUF. Samsung MUF Portable have seen great demand over the last few years thanks to advancements in smartphones. The amount of user-generated content that needs to be backed up or transferred from one device to another has grown exponentially, while native flash controllers are now capable of delivering speeds with the latest. A ubiquitous thumb drive has also managed to evolve. Unlike high-performance portable, these are merchant products under blind tests. Most users wouldn't be able to differentiate a product in one performance class from another vendor's offering in the same class. We rarely review thumb drives, having made exceptions for the Atom and Strontium, Nitro Plus Nano in the past thanks to some unique aspects, but Samsung's offer of the flash drive piqued our interest. Having last reviewed a compact back in 2016, we also wanted to check out the improvements made in this product category over the years. Samsung's is a compact-type flash drive available in capacities ranging from its sports interface. Samsung supplied us with a version to put through our strenuous review process. The presents itself to the host system as a storage device, but does not support fancy features such as temperature or health reporting. It also doesn't support features such as aspects that are usually absent in compact. The ideal comparison products for the would have been the Strontium, Nitro Plus Nano. However, both of these were reviewed many years back with a now retired testbed and test suite. While our test suite has retained the same framework, changes in the actual benchmarks mean that we can't compare old results against the ones obtained with our latest testbed and test suite. The evaluation routine for direct attached storage devices, portable storage bridges including enclosures and memory cards, all utilize the same testbed and have similar workloads, with slight tweaks based on the end market. For the product, our testbeds have kept pace with the introduction of new external interfaces, Thunderbolt and Type, and we prepared a custom desktop based on Haswell, which was then upgraded to Skylake. In early, a botched Thunderbolt firmware upgrade on the Skylake machine meant that we had to shift to the Hades Canyon starting in early. With traction, the inability to use an add-in card in the Hades Canyon meant that we had to go hunting for a new testbed platform. The testbed hardware is only one segment of the evaluation. Over the last few years, the typical direct attached storage workloads have also evolved. High bit-rate videos have become quite common, and videos are starting to make an appearance. Game install sizes have also grown steadily thanks to higher resolution textures and artwork. Backups tend to involve larger number of files, many of which are small in size. The vendors have also appropriately responded, with bus-powered units already available in the market. Keeping these in mind, we have adopted some tweaks to our evaluation methodology. The number 3 on the list is SanDisk Cruiser. SanDisk Cruiser. Even if you've never heard or seen the word SanDisk Cruiser, you've probably seen one. This flash drive is one of the most common you'll see out and about, and it's for good reason. It pretty much became the standard go-to flash drive since it launched several years ago. From its sliding mechanism to its reliability, the SanDisk Cruiser is still one of the most recognized drives out there, but with the Cruiser's speed limitations, is it still worth picking up in a world full of maybe? Let's dive in to look further. The SanDisk Cruiser is available at Amazon and practically any brick-and-mortar retailer that stocks flash drives. You'll find it in person at Best Buy, Staples, and more. The SanDisk Cruiser drive is about as bog standard as you can get when it comes to flash drives. I've owned and used several of these over the years simply because they seem to be the most common drives out there. That says something about its reliability, as I've had one I've used on and off for several years at this point, and it's still going despite some scuffs and scratches. The most appealing part of the SanDisk Cruiser's design is the sliding mechanism that releases and hides the actual USB plug. This frees the drive from requiring a cap, and it's an excellent way to cut down on space while keeping the drive from becoming too small. If you're planning to attach this drive to a lanyard or toss it in your backpack, not having to worry about losing a cap is a big bonus. The action of sliding the port in and out of the drive's shell feels good as well. It's smooth and the mechanism clicks into place to lock it in when extended or retracted. Despite being covered in a relatively cheap-feeling plastic, the Cruiser is remarkably tough when it comes to standing up to abuse. There are no creaks in the plastic or gaps to worry about. That plastic has the effect of making it very light as well. Not that weight is typically a concern for USB drives. The number 2 on the list is PNY USB Turbo. PNY USB Turbo. When it comes to USB flash drives, SanDisk and Samsung are two of the names that you see thrown around a lot. But there are others out there making flash drives that can last you for the long, and PNY is one of them. Among PNY's lineup is its Turbo Attaché series, with the Turbo Attaché being one of the go-to drives for many. The PNY Attaché is definitely a drive that is a solid pick for everyday use. However, there are some issues that keep it from taking the top spot among the best USB flash drives out there. Let's dive in to see what the PNY Turbo Attaché does well and what it doesn't. The PNY Turbo Attaché is another USB flash drive that features a handy sliding mechanism. In place of a cap when the cover is extended, the drive is the same length as when it's retracted, the only difference being the USB plug is exposed. Its design doesn't make it as compact as some other sliding drives, but it's a useful feature to have if you're prone to losing flash drive caps. The drive also feels very solid. Although it's made of the same lightweight plastic as most other drives, the construction feels sturdy enough to survive the occasional drop just fine. The gray plastic that makes up most of the drive has a really nice matte texture as well, which isn't quite premium but feels better than glossy plastic. In a real-world test, I saw write speeds peak around, which is about half of what you'll see with a USB drive. The test involved moving a video file from my to the drive. Curiously, this peak speed was higher than what I experienced with the synthetic benchmark. Two other minor features that will delight some are the activity light and locking slider. Activity lights aren't available on every flash drive out there, so it's nice PNY included a small red light on this drive to show when it's working. The sliding sheath that covers the USB port also locks into place when extended, so you won't have to worry about sliding all over the place. I could easily see this wearing down over time. However, the biggest reason you might want to avoid the PNY Turbo Attaché is its inconsistent write speeds during the synthetic benchmark. This registered as a curious on the random write portions of the test. In the real-world test, this showed up as the speeds bouncing between the low single digits up to and rapidly cycling between. It's unclear what the issue is here, but I'm not the only person who has noticed. There are several Amazon reviews from others pointing out the inconsistent write speeds. What is clear is that this isn't normal behavior for USB flash drives. Other drives I have tested will slowly jump up to a peak write speed and stick there, only varying within a few. Another part of the Turbo Attaché that may turn some off is the flip side of that convenient sliding mechanism. In short, it's difficult to use one-handed most of the time. Because it's a sheath, you may find yourself doing some hand gymnastics to expose the USB port. Once you're ready to cover it back up, you'll nearly always have to use two hands. Compare this to other sliding mechanisms, like that seen on SanDisk's Cruiser range, which can easily slide in and out with one hand. It's a small thing, and it ultimately depends on how often you plan to move the drive around in the first place. Still, it's worth keeping in mind. The number 1 on the list is SanDisk. SanDisk out of the box I immediately had because, ostensibly this SanDisk Extreme Portable looks just like the previous product and has an almost identical name. What compounds this opacity is that the box doesn't mention at all only SanDisk Extreme Portable precisely the same name as the product it replaces. To be clear, this isn't the old box since it mentions the new speeds that only the can achieve on close inspection, and we're talking near forensic. It appears that on the new design, the hole on the top right of the unit is marginally larger on the new model, subjecting it to the ignominy of digital calipers. The new Extreme is also a tiny bit longer, wider and thicker. It's an assumption, but those companies that product carry cases might need to make only small if any adjustments to cope with both designs, but the patterning on the enclosure, placement of the USB port and protective rubberized coating all look the same, although I didn't have a previous model on hand to directly compare them. What they both share is 2-meter drop protection and water and dust resistance. I should say that water resistance is much less than the IN standards, and the won't handle being submerged out of the box. You get the drive, a noticeably short long cable and a small adapter. The drive has a USB port and an adapter for a USB Type-A socket. If you don't have USB on your computer, it needs saying that the technology behind the port is the critical factor, not that it is USB or USB. The drive comes pre-formatted using this structure, and on the drive are utilities to access the encryption features from Windows, and also the Apple Dot encryption is new for this range, and along with the extra speed is one of the virtues of choosing the new model. What you don't get are any tools to the contents of folders on the drive, although it should work with any third-party applications designed to achieve this task, as these types of activities are what people buy these drives for. That hardware makers don't provide the software to exploit them properly is disappointing.